Let me tell you a story that begins with not flowers or violins, but with an asset ledger. There was a woman in Nairobi, smart, independent, and of course, financially disciplined. She built her life from ground up, owned a plot in Syokimau, ran a solid SACCO portfolio, and even helped out her younger siblings through school. Then eventually, she fell in love. The guy, he was charming, smiled well, quoted the scripture, and said all the right things about building together. She believed him. So she didn't ask about debt, didn't question about the lack of savings. In short, she ignored all the red flags because he loved her. 2 years later, the love disappeared like a Safaricom bundle. Okay. Just poof. And just like that, all of it is okay. He left. And with him, half of everything that she built. That's the cost of marrying for emotion instead of elevation. So if your wedding day doesn't boost your balance sheet, then you're marrying for a feeling. And feelings, my dear, don't pay school fees. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Miss Wangui Mithati, your personal finance and investment coach, and welcome back to my channel. Here, I wrangle cows, markets, and occasionally my own emotions, usually in that order. So, if hard truths served cold are your flavor, smash that like. And hey, if you enjoy this content, consider supporting my channel via Buy Me a Coffee, link below, or you can check out the link in the video's description. Here's the truth. Love is a beautiful thing. We can all agree to it, yeah? But it's not a wealth strategy. Marriage, however, can be. When you're saying I do, you're entering a legal, financial, reputational, and generational merger. Not a romantic fantasy, a contract with long-term implications. And if you're not thinking like a strategist, you are playing yourself blind. Let's strip the sentiment and expose the core. Historically, marriage was a transaction, an alliance, land for land, cattle for cattle, bloodlines to solidify dynasties. Not this modern nonsense of vibes and connection. Forgive me if I rattle your feelings. Do you know what vibes give you? It gives you broke babies, delayed goals, and regret. Let me hit you with data. In Kenya, over 30% of marriages end in divorce. And guess what? The courts, they really don't care if you guys got married for love. They care about assets, division, child support, and spousal maintenance. Globally, wealthy families don't marry randomly. 72% of ultra high net worth individuals marry within their economic class. Not because love can't happen elsewhere, but because they understand that marriage is not just about affection. It's about preservation, projection, and power. So, do you want to build an empire or build excuses? Now, let me tell you something that hurt me to my core. A woman I once mentored, intelligent, business savvy, the kind that checks CRB for fun, married a man with no assets. This guy had no ambition, but what he had was plenty of ego. She funded his dreams, bought him a car, paid his rent, supported all his failed ventures, and 3 years in, he cheated on her and left her with her car. That wasn't love. That was a financial haste disguised as romance. And the sad part, she thought she was building a future. Woe unto her. Listen, If the person you're binding yourself to doesn't multiply your power, increase your influence, or secure your future, then tell me, what are they doing? They're just weakening you. Why would you allow something like that? Marriage must be a force multiplier. Let's break it down into something that I call the strategic marriage code. 1. Audit before you attach. Before you say yes, even into being this person's girlfriend or boyfriend, do what corporates do. Okay? Do your due diligence. Talk to people, ask questions. Don't just go in blindly. Okay? Assets, debts, credit history, family drama, check it all. Because if it was a business merger, you'd inspect the books, right? So why are you only inspecting his beard? 2. Secure your exit before the entry. This is where, if you can't discuss a prenup, may it be financial, emotional, then it simply means you're not mature enough to marry. The same way we ensure cars that we might crash, we must protect futures that we might lose. So a financial prenup or an emotional prenup is not anti-love. It's pro-survival. 3. Align on ambition, not just affection. Love is a fire. But when the flame dies, because eventually it will, are you both going to be sitting on ashes or a kingdom? So, date people with a blueprint, not just a sexy body. Ask them, what are we building together? That is beyond children and Instagram captions. What is it that we are doing? Where are we going? Where are we headed? 4. Merge networks, not just emotions. If your partner doesn't bring access, connections, or at the very least, a reputation that doesn't make your CV shiver, you're sleeping next to a liability. Marriage must scale your opportunities, not shrink them. Because here's what I need you to understand. Your choice of spouse is the most powerful financial decision you'll ever make. It affects where you live, how you invest, whether your children inherit wealth or debt, and how long it will take for you to recover if it all collapses. That ring, it's not just a symbol, it's a contract with consequences. Don't get me wrong, I'm not telling you to go out and get married for money. I'm just telling you to marry with your mind. Okay? To marry with your future in mind. To protect your empire, your peace, and your name. Because when the butterflies fly away, because they are meant to fly, eventually they'll fly away. And the romance fades. You've seen old couples. I promise you, you'll need something more solid. Like a trust fund or 40 acres under your name. Okay? Here is the harsh part. Every sentimental decision that weakens your power costs your lineage. You see, your great-grandchildren, they may end up suffering because you chose someone who looked good on wedding photos but offered zero legacy value. And don't think you're too nice or too godly for this. The devil walks in with flowers and a suit. Real talk. So if love doesn't serve your power, it's not love. It's a weakness. I'll leave you with this. Your marriage should be a weapon, not a chain. It should be a strategy, not a soft landing. And it should be a launchpad, not a liability. And if you're already married, it's not too late. Start treating your union like a company. Set KPIs, run audits, define roles, and when you find that the other person isn't pulling their weight, restructure. Because you're not in this to play cute. You're in this to build an empire, a legacy. And you see, empires and legacies aren't built on feelings. They're built on strategy, sacrifice, and serious conversations. And that's why I don't like small talk. If you don't come to me with serious conversations, I'm not doing that. Okay? So ask yourself, did I marry for power or for poetry? Because only one of those builds generational wealth. I am Miss Wangoi Muthapi, your personal finance and investment coach, and I'll see you in my next video.